celebration. And we do hope that before the program runs out, one of our guests will step in so that we can feel the pulse of Ramadan. But before then, we'll take what the papers actually say this morning.
All right.
So precious.
Perpetual.
Yeah, perpetual.
Yeah. We'll start with the New Telegraph newspaper. The major headlines there says reps recover additional $14 million from oil firm, threaten ITO, Corn Oil, Frontier, and others with sanctions. At the top strip, it says NDIC to pay Heritage Bank depositors before creditors and shareholders. It also says Mothering Sundays. Mothering Sunday. Mothers are unsung heroes. This is coming from Remy Tinubu. Military appointment during emergency rule undermine democracy. This is coming from Obe. Fuel prices now 930 naira per litre to 970 naira per litre in Lagos, Ogun, and FCT. At the bottom strip of the newspaper, it says Eid al-Fitr, show love, compassion to the vulnerable Muslim, Tinubu tells Muslims. And lastly, looking at New Telegraph newspaper, it says Apoti Udwaran, recall process costlier than normal election. This is coming from INEC.
Okay, our next paper for review from the Telegraph, This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper is our next paper for review. Above the masthead, in major boost to capital markets, Tinubu signs investment and security bills 2025. And below the masthead, Amici, Tinubu trying to scare governors who may not support him in 2027. In a telephone call, Buhari refers to Tinubu at 73, appreciates role in making him the president. That's it for this day newspaper.
All right, moving on to the Nation newspaper. It has as its major headline, President Bola Tinubu's exceptional performance is supported by strong evidence provided below. And below you see that there is a graphic representation of his leadership since he assumed office as president, talking about aspects like national security, economy, the tax to Nigeria GDP ratio. All of them is represented on that graphic representation over there. And at the top strip it says, remain steadfast, Tinubu tells Nigerians. President, Vice President observe 8 prayers in Abuja. And lastly, looking at the Nation newspaper, it says, Muslims troop to Eid grounds. Sultan calls for tolerance. 2 die in Gombe stampede. And lastly, Wike meets FCT homage to Villa. For details of these stories and more, do want to get yourself a copy of the Nation's newspaper.
Right away from that, the blueprint. The blueprint is our next point of call. And tragedy. Nigerian boxer collapses, dies in ring during fight. What a very sad one. Actually watched the footage of that fight. His opponent did actually hit him. And a lot of people say cardiac arrest. A lot of people have said juju. Alright, below that, Tinubu Sultan and Alafi others urge compassion and charity at EDE for trade. Unremitted reps secure 814.2 million naira from all firms, shoot recoveries to 50 billion naira. That's it for the blueprint this morning.
Okay, moving on to the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. It says, inefficiencies, liquidity strain hold down power sector growth. Experts urge structural reforms, decentralization to drive investment. These Nigerians on charity for vulnerable citizens says we will give APC victory in Abuja in 2027. At the top strip, it says Rivers emergency rule. Court summons Tinubu, Akpabio, Abbas, and others. And lastly, looking at Daily Independent newspaper, it says air passengers in Nigeria. Taking a quick look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper,
which is our next point of call. We have it simply put above the masthead. Uromi killings. Emir Kanu calls for justice as CDS vows collaboration with fish out killers. We removed FCT from TSA to speed up development. That statement is credited to President Bola Tinubu. And below the masthead, President Bola Tinubu's exceptional performance is supported by the strong evidence provided below from that graphical illustration there.
Okay, moving on to the next newspaper, which is The Guardian. It says high interest rates choke real sector as banks break 1 trillion naira profit threshold. At the top strip, it says Eid al-Fitr. Tinubu Sultan preach love calls for well-being and better governance. Tinubu hails Okpebholo's education reforms. I'll share with authorities evidence of theft under Fubara, says Nweke. And lastly, NCDC activates level 2 response as Lassa fever kills 118.
Okay, away from the Daily Trust, the Vanguard is our next paper, and the Vanguard has above the masthead 8 for trade, Tinubu article of the governors can preach peace, unity, and tolerance. 118 died of Lassa fever in the first quarter of 2025, and Vanguard Personality of the Year award will make me work more. That statement is credited to Adedeji Adeleke. And below that, Uromi killings, CDS can PFN seek for justice for victims. As Sanusi wants Kanu youths against any reprisal, Kanu sends delegation to engage Edo government. Okpebholo suspends security chief, and the perpetrators must be brought to book. Nigerians should feel safe in all regions. That statement is credited to the lower war. And on the flush left, GTKC grows profits by 107.8 trillion to 1.26 trillion naira. Alright, and just below that, Nigerians to pay more for petrol amid domestic disputes and crude price hike. Just when we're saying that stability.
Okay, taking a look at the Punch newspapers, it says 91 groups seek INEC registration as coalition talks gather steam. Electoral rejected as opposition gears up to challenge ruling party. At the top strip, it says legal profession facing ethical challenges, says CJN. Natasha's recall, INEC from Vice President, governors, and
All right. One hand feelings in the king there say there should be no reprisal. I think, like I did also say, overzealousness on the part of the so-called vigilante. I think they have to actually censor, newspaper people
Well,
so that they don't experience such any longer.
well, I really loved the fact that immediately it occurred, the governor did not waste time. He just sprung into action. He even paid the community a visit to ensure that all was in order, and then he asked the security agencies, the police, all of them to work together to ensure that these perpetrators are brought to book, and then he has restored calm also in the community because there was apprehension, anxiety, and all of that. So he brought calm to it, and that's a beautiful one. So we pray that these perpetrators or the perpetrators of this act are brought to book in due course, in due time, because this is nothing to write home about. Another buzzing issue on the newspaper headlines will real increase in data cost. But then there was a message in that joke. The increase in data cost is too high right now, and everybody is complaining about the tariffs we used to pay before, and now the difference is just too big. So, what do you think about it? Should there be a review, or we should keep living in that state?
No, 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 no. For me, the review is it's as important as anything, because I'm also experiencing it. You are also experiencing it,
We
and it's of recent because I got my brother to do a lot of for me data, and before you know it, your data is gone, and there's no how that you can buy data on a daily basis
yes,
because that is where your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your WhatsApp, they survive on that.
everything
Do you understand?
basically.
So if you don't have data, you can't go through your Facebook. If you don't have data, you can't go through your WhatsApp and all of that. So I think there should be a serious reconsideration along that line.
There was also a graphical representation in I think Nigerian Tribune newspaper, yes, and another newspaper. There was a graphical representation of President Tinubu has done so far. And they said, one, on the economy, the tax to Nigeria GDP ratio, and the second one on national security. So they really scored him well, talked about what he has done. They said President Bola Tinubu's exceptional performance is supported by the strong evidence provided below, and differing opinions on how far he has fared. So, what do you think? Has he really fared well so far as president?
Oh, well, I might not have my dynamics, but one thing that I know, politicians being what they are, they come and go. When I look at the caliber of the crop of politicians that we have now, they are looking good, looking well fed, and it all seems to be good. You understand? But it's like a season too.
Yes.
People say it's coming and going this season. That is how, at a point too, this caliber of politicians would also fizzle out, and the brand new set will now come in. So I might not have my dynamics for saying, okay, this one is doing so well. But the only thing that I know is that everything is got its time and
Yes.
season.
Yes.
When it is time for to do that administration to fizzle out like a candle.
Okay, and when you talk about fizzling out, it's also important. You said they will come and go, but don't you think that it's also pivotal that they leave not just an impact, but then a positive impact that will be made reference to, that will be referenced? Don't you think it's important to also do so?
Yes, it's very, very important. I have a slot that I always keep saying and singing loudly. What you need to remember. I've even told my kids that if God calls me home today, that song should be sung. What you need to remember for. You understand? Which is very important in every aspect of our life. If you leave your name in the sands of time, you will be remembered for either good or bad. But the most important thing is what will you be remembered for. Today we cannot forget the lives of Osani Bojokudia of Benin. We cannot forget the lives of Latif Jakande, the Lagos governor who built estates everywhere, and the estates were branded after him. You understand? Those are legacies. These are people who have left their name in the sense of time, and they are being remembered years after. So that's for me.
That's beautiful. It's not just important that we come in as leaders, it's pertinent that we leave our mark on the sands of time, like you said. What will you be remembered for? Though the graphical representation shows that he has done well, many people may disagree, but however it is, fingers crossed, you said it all when you said, what will you be remembered for? Now, in the New Telegraph, the streaming story was talking about how reps recovered additional $14 million from oil firm, and then they threaten groups like ITEC, Corn Oil, Frontier, and others with sanctions. What do you think about this?
Well, the sanctions definitely will come because there's a conspiracy somewhere.
About it?
Yeah, there's a conspiracy somewhere. Maybe there's no smoke without a fire. So they should look at it critically and come out with measures that will actually move us forward as far as this dispensation is concerned. It's not just a smokescreen, and it's not something that I want them to sweep under the carpet. Otherwise, it will not be good for Nigeria. But once they bring it out to the carry out critical, very, very deep research by way of investigation, they will come on, there's no smoke, really, without the fire.
That's great. I think that's it on the newspaper headline segment right now.
Okay, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, I told you earlier on that it's the Eden Mubarak special, and we have our big brother in the house. I won't let you let the cat out of the bag, or rather, hold on, see who this big masculine is. Stay with us, Morning Ride.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throway your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
Delta people. In less than 22 months, Governor Borowori don show say im promise not be plenty talk with the full basket, not be cho. With im more agenda, meaningful development, opportunity for all, realistic reforms, and enhanced peace and security. Progress don burst out everywhere. Im don upgrade over 500 roads, initiate over 300 new ones, and build plenty bridges wey dey connect our communities.
Day when I dey reach here, my spirit dey jump, I'm already high because this bridge never tell me this sheriff talk well. Julius Berger is the high sheriff. Ah yes.
For education, over 3,000 teachers and support staff don join, and schools don dey get better shine.
I really want to say the government have done a good job providing us with these new buildings because we lack lecture or are grateful to the government.
For the health sector, 1 billion naira. You dey hear wetin I dey talk? 1 billion naira don burst out our health insurance. Hospitals don dey get better modern equipment and new health colleges don open. Every day changes dey happen for Delta State. For agriculture, 1 billion naira intervention fund dey help our farmers to produce better food. Make we no begin to dey talk about empowerment sef wey dey sup for the state. Sheriff don touch over 250,000 lives for the state.
Our administration is fully committed to what government expected to do for its people, which is to empower them to overcome the challenges of life and enable them to achieve their full meaning of happiness.
Everybody no go lack for e life, the generation no go lack. As e remember me, remember my daughter today, make God remember am. E go come again, we go still follow am again.
Our hard-working civil servants also dey enjoy support, and for our security agencies.
Thank you for the support that you have been giving to police and other security agencies in the state.
Kodo just dey go round every sector to make sure say everywhere malash. Make una know say this one na proof say Governor Oborevwori dey talk the talk, he dey do the work, and na man wey dey win award sef up and down.
We are giving you these awards as the most all-inclusive governor of the year 2025.
Dis na sign say e dey bring hope and progress for every corner for Delta State. Make we join hand celebrate our leader wey truly dey make Delta State shine. The work never finish o, we go continue to dey do more. Delta people, in less than 22 months, Governor Oborevwori don show say im promise not be plenty talk wey dey full basket, not be cho. With im more agenda, meaningful development, opportunity for all, realistic reforms, and enhanced peace and security, progress don burst out everywhere. Im don upgrade over 500 roads, initiate over 300 new ones, and build plenty bridges wey dey connect our communities.
Every day when I dey preach here, my spirit dey jump, I'm already high, because this preach never tell me what this sheriff talk well. Julius Berger is the high. Sheriff! Ah yes.
For education, over 3,000 teachers and support staff don join, and schools don dey get better shine.
I really want to say the government have done a good job providing us with these new buildings because we lack lecture or we are grateful to the government.
For the health sector, 1 billion naira, you dey hear wetin I dey talk? 1 billion naira don burst out our health insurance. Hospitals don dey get better modern equipment, and new health colleges don open. Every day changes dey happen for Delta State. For agriculture, 1 billion naira intervention fund dey help our farmers to produce better food. Make we no begin to dey talk about empowerment sef wey dey sup for the state. Sheriff don touch over 250,000 lives for the state.
Our administration is fully committed to what government expected to do for its people, which is to empower them to overcome the challenges of life and enable them to achieve their full meaning of happiness.
Everybody no go lack for e life, the generation no go lack. As e remember me, remember my daughter today, make God remember am. E go come again, we go still follow am again.
Our hard-working civil servants also dey enjoy support, and for our security agencies, they don get 66 security vehicles when our governor don say make e enter the road, make e protect people for the street.
Thank you for the support that you have been giving to police command and other security agencies in the state.
Kodo just dey go round every sector to make sure say everywhere palash. Make una know say dis one na proof say governor Borowori dey talk the talk, e dey do the work, and na man wey dey win award sef up and down.
We are giving you this award as the most sought inclusive governor of the year 2025.
Dis na sign say e dey bring hope and progress for every corner for Delta State. Make we join hand celebrate our leader wey truly dey make Delta State dey shine. The work never finish o, we go continue to dey do more.
Telling us it's the Muslim special. It's a holiday that we actually dedicate to our Muslim brothers. It's the Eid al-Fitr, a significant Islamic holiday that marks the end of Ramadan. And of course, it's Islamic holy month of fasting. It's a day of thanksgiving, joy, celebrating with family and friends. The phrase Eid al-Fitr literally means festival of breaking the fast. And so joining us on the conversation this morning is one of our Nigeria's best, Dr. Musa Adekola Alhaji Ilabe.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, it's nice seeing all of you again.
Yes. Same here because you have somebody who has actually given us content as far as the Islamic culture is concerned in Delta State. And that is joy because there has to be a balance rather than allowing it to one side. So we welcome you this morning to the special Eid al-Fitr for us. And by my illustration, the significant Islamic day that marks the end of Ramadan. So just quickly, can you just take it away from me? What is Ramadan?
Yeah. First of all, let me say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Glory is due to no other except Almighty God, our sustainer, our cherisher, our protector. We thank him so very much for keeping us alive till today. And we seek his forgiveness and pray that he will continue to be with us from now to the end of our life and even beyond. Peace and mercy of God be upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam and all his companions and all those who stood by him in thick and thin. Yes, we say Eid al-Fitr is just a festival, a very special one for that matter, which normally comes at the end of Ramadan fast, which is enjoined upon mankind. If you go to the Holy Quran chapter 2 and verse 183, Allah tells you by that Bismillah that Kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum you have believed, we have enjoined upon you fasting in the month of Ramadan, like we did impose it upon those who were before you, like Prophet Adam, Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Isa, Jesus Christ, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Therefore, if the month of fasting has come to meet you in life, do your best to also fast. And the Quran tells you for that, that's in chapter 2, I think around verse 185, 186, it tells you that at the end of it, وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا عَلَى مَا أَدَاكُمْ. Once the end of fasting has come, then praise God, restore the majesty of God, عَلَى مَا أَدَاكُمْ, for having guided you to the true faith of Abraham, Isa, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you become so thankful. So it's a festival of gratitude given to God Almighty. It's a festival also of love, and it's a festival of sacrifice, because you cannot make a sacrifice, you cannot fast. Hunger and stomach are not really good friends, and you just have to endure it. It is a festival that also teaches us patience with ourselves and even with God, because you plant a corn today, it will not just germinate until after some time, and you start to reap. So when you are waiting for it, you have to be patient and be prayerful to God. So it's also a festival where you need to continue to reflect, because the Eid al-Fitr itself is happening in another month, because it's Ramadan happens in the 9th Islamic calendar month, which is called Ramadan. Then the first day of the next month after Ramadan is when you have the Eid al-Fitr, and that month is called Shawwal. You understand? It's the 10th Islamic calendar month. It's called Shawwal. So that first day is normally for us to open the mouth, in quote, that you have locked up, so to say, for the past 29 or 30 days. So, it's so very important. And how do we start the day? You have to go to the mosque, to the worship grounds, and extol the majesty of Allah and pray to God and thank Almighty God. But there's one thing very significant. I know that a lot of Muslims must have done that. They call it Zakatul Fitr. That is, you have to give out something that that people in your land or in your community or in your neighborhood will eat. You know, especially the needy people, the widows, the downtrodden, and so on. You have to observe that. You have to give it out. That means normally done before you go to eat ground, before you go to worship. If you do it after the worship, you have done ordinary sadaqah, ordinary almsgiving. It's no longer special. And after you have prayed to God, then it's time to really go home and felicitate with one another, visit loved ones, they will also visit you. If you have rice and things and all the rest, you can give out to people. You have to show love and be disciplined and use the month to actually reflect and let the spirit of patience, the spirit of sacrifice, the spirit of worship, and the spirit of almsgiving, let those spirits abide with you even after the month of Ramadan has come. Because hunger is hunger even outside the month of Ramadan. So when you put yourself in the position of those who are hungry, you will know that it is very important that as you fed people in the month of Ramadan, continue to do the same. Continue to help. Yeah, because the only language a blind person can understand is kindness. So that's just a brief about that.
So for how many days does it last?
Yeah,
The Eid al-Fitr?
yeah, it is normally for a day or 2 or 3 as the time can permit.
Okay.
You can see in our country now, the federal government has declared a 2-day holiday for us. That's fine. for us to celebrate and even relax because you need to rest. It's
Those
not
around
easy.
us.
You could just imagine that you have been waking up at night between 4 till 6 a.m. for 30 days. Now people are suddenly relieved of that, and people would need to really rest, you know. Yeah, so it can last for a day or two or three. But if there is war, for instance, which we don't pray for, like in Gaza now, you know, Palestinians have no time to celebrate because of the ongoing war or crisis. So it can last as long as you have the time to do it. Yes.
So there are no specifics. It
No, no,
depends
no.
on it's contextual.
Yes,
Based on the
yes.
environment.
But normally the first day is key. Then the second day, third day, then fourth day go to work. So Islam does not
So,
want you to be lazy.
so you talked about a special giving that is done during this period of Eid al-Fitr.
Yes.
Yes, a special giving, and you said that when you do that giving before you go to the prayer ground,
Yes.
you know, you called it a word, but if it is done
Zakat.
zakatul fitr, yes, so that, but when it is done after. It is seen as ordinary
Yeah,
sadaqah.
it doesn't carry
So
that weight
that
again.
weight. So I want to ask now, is it that the zakatul fitr is more important than sadaqah? Because
Yes.
okay, it's more important.
more important. Yes, it's very significant.
So what is the impact of
Yeah,
that
the
act?
impact is, you see, when God is so wonderful, and God is a lover of all. The only thing is most of the generality of people do not really understand the way of God, and that's why the Bible will tell you that people perish for lack of knowledge. God Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala wants you to give out this zakatul fitr to touch the lives of people who do not have what to eat. So when you are presenting it after the festival is already, the prayer for the festival is already said, what do you want those people to eat? And the zakatul fitr stands also to correct some of the minor errors that people committed even in fasting. Because during the month of fasting, you are not expected to backbite, you are not expected to fight, you are not expected to quarrel or think evil of
About your neighbor.
you are not even expected to look at what you are not supposed to look at. But mind you, by the time you go outside there, you are even seeing, you know, the indecent dressings amidst our people. You are not expected to see all this. How do you correct? God says, observe this zakat. When you do it, I will use it to correct your minor and your major errors during the month of fasting, so that you have 100%. And you have to do it before Eid al-Fitr. Yeah.
So I'm still looking at Eid al-Fitr. What role does this celebration play in fostering unity and togetherness among those who are Muslims and those who
Yeah,
are non-Muslims?
that's a very apt and good question. I was expecting that, or I will have thought about it. It's so significant that it fosters unity 100%, if I may say. Because you see, Muslims throughout the world will come together, you know, in a prayer ground, all at the same time, doing the same thing. That bond is really something. You are seeing your brothers, you are seeing your sisters, you first stay together, you chat, you talk. People you have not been opportune to even see for some few days or months, you are coming together in unity. Aside from that, when you cook food and you dish out to your neighbors, everybody is happy. Whether they are Muslims or not, it's not your concern. They are all creatures of who? Almighty God. So, it's a festival that tells you not to discriminate and that you must touch lives of people. You see, even with the advent of social media, you can reach out to people all over the world. So it kind of unifies everybody in the society. So it brings us together. So it's a lovely thing.
So there's something they do during this period apart from sharing food.
Yes.
You know, they also share things like meat, during this period. So,
No. This is not the one for meat.
okay.
That is called Eid al-Adha. Is a festival of sacrifice
Okay, so they are
where you
different.
slaughter ram.
Okay.
But this one is not associated with the ram. But if you have the money to do that on your own, you are free. You can do it. You can buy, a cow head and kill it, and let people enjoy that privilege from you if you have. But if you do not have, yes,
Okay, so
that is why some people refer to it as small salah.
okay,
Because
then yes, I
ram is
understand that.
not
Involved.
associated. It doesn't mean that it's small in its significance. Because people like ram now, they love
Exactly.
meat now. And now say, okay, we can clarify this as small salad. Then the one that is associated with ram or camel,
Call it
well, let's call it big salad.
Yeah.
So quickly, what are some of those things that you, I want us to use yourself as a case study now, are grateful for during the Eid al-Fitr, and how do you reflect on your experiences and lessons learned
Yeah.
during Ramadan?
Yeah, one is grateful for life because they say when there is life, there is hope. So we have to be grateful for life that God has given to us. That's number one. Aside from that, you have to be grateful for the good health that we enjoy and for the freedom that we have. Remember, some people are not free, even though they are not locked up. Sickness may make people not to be free. While some people properly are in the custody of government called correctional centers, while some are in the hospitals. Are you following now? So, we thank God for that freedom. If you say freedom is not something, please just try and lock yourself up for 2 days in the toilet of your home, then you know what freedom is. So we are grateful for that. Aside from that, uniting with loved ones, because people seize this opportunity to travel to their country home to go and see their parents, aged ones, and so on and so forth. So it's a very good thing, and it's a time for reflection. It's a time to also reconcile, time for reconciliation with other people around, people that you have quarreled with, and all they say, this one I'm not going to greet you again. No, you have to reconcile. That is the spirit, and that is the lesson of the month.
Okay, so moving forward now, what do you hope to achieve or improve on in the coming year? Because a lot of people say, okay, I think this is my point of resolution, so to speak. Can you also align that to
Yeah,
this season?
yeah. Well, I believe that every day is a new day, and every day you must make your resolution, and you have to try and be a better version of yourself. That is the most important thing in life. Don't compare yourself with others, and don't poke nose in other people's
Activities.
Just know yourself. When you do this and you better yourself, I think you can better the loss of other people inside. That is the teaching, and most importantly, the patience. Yeah, because most Nigerians are not patient. Most leaders are not patient with the led. Even those that are being led are not patient at all. They want everything just now. And that's why you see a lot of people killing others, making ritual killings because of what they want to achieve. And Islam tells you that you don't need all those things. What you need is your daily bread. Even the Bible tells you that, right? Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our as we forgive those who
trespass against
are
us.
people really forgiving those who trespass against them? That is the question. And are we not looking for more than our daily bread? What are you going to do with tomorrow's bread in your house today? In other words, every good religion, Islamically speaking, will condemn the amassment of wealth. You understand? So all these things, we need to reflect upon them and know that we just need little things. And if death comes, nothing follows you to your grave. You go alone. You are going to leave everything, in this world. Other people will squander them, so to say.
So you talked about amassment of wealth.
Yes.
So people understand amassment of wealth to be different things. Some people that they are listening to you may say, are you trying to say I should not save up for my children's school fees? Are you trying to say I should not save up for that land I want
To
to
make
buy
money
and
for
build my
myself.
house? So, and break it down. When you say amassment of
Yes.
wealth.
Now you have gotten the barest minimum. God has blessed you. You are working. Your wife is also working. They pay you salary. From there, you can send your children to school. You buy your land. You build your house. You have a car. You have another car too. And you still want more. That you do more than 2 cars in your compound. That's a massive wealth. What you must give to your children is education. God has written something for them while they are coming. They have their own destiny. What they will be even without your presence in their life. So what are you keeping for them? What you need to give to them is education, good guidance, home training, and so on and so forth. Then for you to say, oh, I need to keep 40 acres of land for my generation yet to come. I mean, that is stupidity. That is un-Islamic. That is ungodly. And we must veer away from that. What are you keeping for them? I've seen a family in US, the man and the wife, 2 of them doctors. They have just 2 children. And they have mansions here in Lekki, everywhere in Nigeria. When they do so old, they call their 2 children, who are also medical doctors, that yes, we are getting older, we need to go back home. And mom, go to where? We go nowhere, we die here. And the mother fainted, and she died. And later the father died too. The children didn't care about what they had here in Nigeria. So, who cares about that again? You understand? So who knows what will happen to that property? So it's an effort in futility. You have to overwork yourself, to keep things for your children and your generation yet to be born. And even when you have to do that, so you are doing it in a very, very ugly manner by cheating others. What you are expected to give out to the masses, construct good roads, give them
education.
Good education, infrastructure, provide employment. At the expense of all that, you are just cornering the money with your. It is unthinkable. It's a bad narrative, and it has to change through social media. We keep talking. We must not keep quiet. Because maybe those people are doing it are just bedeviled by Satan, or maybe they are in cause. I don't see why you'll be earning like 200, 500,000, and you are a little bit well-to-do, and you have a house in Asaba, you have another one in Agbo, you have another one in Bini. Only you. How many rooms are you going to stay? I mean, it's uncalled for. Such money, extra money, excess money will lead to organizations that will help you utilize it, like the Red Cross. Bring it to Islamic prayer group. We have widows, we have children who cannot pay school fees. You can use this money to assist them. This is how to spend money. And your name will be written in gold. You will die and you see their life. But most of our rich men and women have died, and they remain dead. Why is it that some people are dead, but you still remember them? Because of the legacy they left. Because they are not a master of wealth. You understand? So to say, so God assist this country. Yes, one question.
Yeah, just before we wrap it up, what role do you think the community can play now in the Italy victory celebration?
Yeah,
By way of bringing people.
yeah, the communities are trying, like now, for instance, in Oshimili South local government, our chairman, Chief Calvin, has always provided a space for us to pray. You understand? And community members too, who are even not Muslims, have always been happy to see Muslims pray. They felicitate with us, they are so happy, and they extend their hands of fellowship. Like in my area, I have one Christian family. Every week during the month of fasting, that particular family will bring to us in the mosque there, 2 packs of mineral and pure water, sachet water. And the person is a Christian, they are Christian family. So that is the reciprocation of how we are to them also. When you are good to people, people are going to, in fact, what you get from people is a reflection of your kind. And that's why we urge people to be good. Be good to people, not because of what they will do for you, but be good because you are good and because God himself is good and he wants us to do what is good at all times. So community members are always there for you. Sometimes they even help us in cleaning the environment and what of the safety. They provide safety. I remember 1 or 2 mosques in Asaba when hoodlums broke in, they wanted to remove some of the items in the it was the community, who raised alarm. Why are you doing that? Don't you know this is house of God for Muslims? These are some of the things we enjoy, and we also give out some. So very important.
Okay, so tolerating one another now.
Yes, tolerance.
The last
Tolerance.
aspect of our question is because we see that some people become religious biters. Either from way of taking too much,
Fanatics.
Yeah, fanatical. Fanatical, and anything that is not within their school is taken as an infidelic attitude.
It's because they don't have understanding. That's why I thank DBS for this kind of forum, which is provided for a good platform for Muslims, for Christians to air their views. And also, you people are trying to invite those who can give you the facts. People who are not biased, who will give you the facts from the Quran, from the Hadith. When you see people who are very violent or who are violent, you don't associate them with religion. Don't. If you do, it means you be like someone who is taking a bath in the bathroom, and suddenly a madman came and removed the cloth, and you now moved out naked and you are pursuing the madman. So who is mad?
You who is pushing the madman.
So the 2 of them are mad. You understand? So anybody associating violence with Islam or even with Christianity doesn't understand life, because Islam means peace, and you cannot be in violence and saying you are professing Islam. So people who are doing that, many of them, they don't even understand the meaning of the Quran. Otherwise, the Quran tells you, if you kill a soul unlawfully, as if you have destroyed the whole of mankind, and your recompense is hellfire. So, and that is the word of God. Then who will now hear something like that, and now you take to violence? Nobody, except someone who is a loser in this world and the hereafter. And the Quran has also told you that, because after here, there is somewhere called heaven, called paradise, and there is also hell. You understand that? So when you look at these two, where do you like to be? Everybody wants, a good person will want to be in paradise. Then for you to be in paradise, you have to do some job of paradise, good work. For people to be in hell, you have to do also the job of the inmates of hell. Look at our country now. Nobody will come and put you in the prison when you have not committed any offense. So we are in paradise now, as it were. We are in enjoyment, as it is, because we comfort ourselves and we don't do evil. Otherwise, one will not be sitting down here and doing all this. So we must continue to talk to people that fanaticism is anti-Islam, and God does not like it. So when you see people who are fanatical, they quarrel with even themselves. They quarrel with Muslims, they quarrel with Christians. It's only their own that is wrong. That is wrong. We must want them.
Let me thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've actually made the Gideon victory, because it would have been watery if we had just come in today and changed the Muslim festival and not have content.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Dr. Alagi Musa.
Thank you so very much. It's nice seeing you.
Thank you so much.
Alaji Tamno.
Heal me.
Thank you very much. And perpetual too.
Thank you so much.
You are doing so well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so this is where we'll take another break. I'm sure when we come back, we will be terminating the ride. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. On the ride.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throway your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba. If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throway your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take wetin you go do? You go begin.
All right. We're still on to morning ride, uh, Monday's edition, and it's the Eid Victory Special. And on our last bit of the ride this morning, I've been joined by our own pharmacist, Gregson Idibo. Did I get it right?
Sure you did.
Okay. I like to say Eid Victory to
Yeah, same to
Eid
you.
Mubarak. That is happy celebration.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
And also do your profession to it's an essential one. It's just like what we are also doing. As a medic, it's also an essential profession. So today we'll be looking at the use of, or rather supplements, the use of supplements, pros and cons. That's going to be our topic for today. So I want you to start by, what is supplement? Before we get to the use. First of all, what is supplement?
Thank you very much. Just as the name suggests, supplement what you add to another to complete, to make a whole. So by supplement in medical terms, we refer to products that are usually that are intended to make up for deficiencies in nutritional requirements. Instances, of course, you know that when we eat our daily diet contains nutrients which are also essential for the body, for the normal body functioning and the rest of them. Now there are other cases where people don't get the nutrients from diet alone. So that's from what they consume from food alone. So that is where dietary supplements now come in. So basically supplements are products that are intended to supplement, sorry to use the word, to supplement for nutrients, especially when people cannot get it from their normal food intake.
Okay. So in other words, when you don't get protein from beans, for example, there's a supplement.
So there are supplements
used to supplement it.
Exactly.
That is why it's supplementary.
Yes.
That's supplementation.
So what's the difference between supplement and medication, since they both work on doctor's prescription, right?
Okay.
Because you can't self-medicate too when it comes to supplement, or can you?
Of course, people do that.
But
I think
is
that
it advisable?
not really,
Okay.
not really. But the situation we find ourselves in the country is that we have so many doctors, unqualified doctors. Let me not use quack now. We have so many unqualified doctors, pharmacists, nutritionists, and what have you everywhere. You go online and you see people tell you, if you use this one works for this one works for this. We don't have any scientific basis for that recommendation. But people will follow their words. You know, there's this in the country as it stands now, online. All this media, social media is really, it's doing a whole lot of damages, just as it's doing some good to people too. So, and one of the areas these damages come in is through all these online doctors we see everywhere. Of course, I'm not saying they are not qualified doctors online. They are qualified pharmacists online, but you have the bulk of them that are doing all these online recommendations information on medication and rest of them, supplements and what have you, they are not qualified. They just
register as marketers.
and just do their thing.
Uh,
Some of them don't even register. Somebody can literally go online and just put something on Facebook or on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. Say this is what I use for. There's one that gave us some challenges in the recent past. An insert. They call it Lovina. You see, you just see people. You just see people come to the pharmacy and say, "I want Lovina." Say, "What do you need Lovina for?" Say, "I want to use it. That is good, very good." Say, "No, you don't just use Lovina because you want to use it." You understand? But they tell you that they sell it online, and they sell it so expensive online, 15,000, 12,000, and that is not even supposed to be more than 6,500 in the pharmacy.
So are you not saying that it doesn't have a function?
It does have a function, but they are abusing it, they misuse it. Now, when somebody tells you use this because I used it and it did this, that's what I think on this station, this same studio. Oh, I used this one when I had this one and it worked like this one. So I recommend this. You must see a doctor, you must see your pharmacist or your health practitioner before you can go about using medication. But they don't do that. Once they just see it online, oh yeah, that is it. So differentiating between supplements and medication, of course, I won't call supplements medications. Understand? Supplements can take whatever any form, can be plant-based supplement, can be nutrients, whatever based supplement. But you see medications, let's just try to separate them. The medications are strictly, recommended by your health profession, by your doctor, your pharmacist, or any other specialist as case may be. That's medication. No, I'm trying to distinguish between medication and supplements so that we don't give people the notion that supplements can cure ailments. That is not the intention. That's not the intended use of supplements. It's not to cure ailments. It's not to diagnose. It's not to prevent. Although in some cases you can take some supplements to actually help your system to avoid certain medical conditions and what have you that are related to deficiencies. But in ideal term, in practical terms, supplements are not designed to diagnose, they are not designed to prevent, they are not designed to cure ailments. Medications are designed for this. But supplements try to keep it within the scope of being just an additive to your normal nutrients, which you should ideally get from the daily consumption of your food.
So how important is it to know the medical history or know your medical history before taking some supplements? Because like you said, some people will take a particular supplement, most especially our ladies that are interested in having a glowing skin. Do you understand? Some people will take supplements and then they are glowing. Their skin is shining, they look good. While some people may end up taking that same supplement and then it's like their immune system is down. Yes, because you said supplements are not drugs in itself, but they augment where nutritional value does not augment. Where nutritional value does not get up to, they strengthen the nutritional value ecosystem. So how important is it for us to know our medical history, since these supplements have different reactions in our bodies when consumed?
Okay, that's very, very important. That's a very important question. One, I must mention that supplements, they also react with other medication, prescription medications. So that's why it's very important to know the medical history and medication history. If you know somebody's medical history, then it's also appropriate that you know the person's medication history. Because for every medical condition, it's expected that there should be medications, that the person actually is using to mitigate that condition. Now, if the person is to use supplements, that's why it's very important for people to always meet their health professionals, your doctors, your pharmacists, your specialists, your nutritionists, as the case may be, before you commence using any supplement. Now, I'll give an example. For people, there's one supplement we call St. John's wort. Very important supplement, we know that about supplement. But for people that are on antidepressants, if they use that and that's St. John's wort, it gives them a very, very terrible reaction that may cause confusion, severe confusion, severe nervous system collapse. Then it can also eventually lead to death, coma and death. That is a reaction. So it's important to know what the person's medication history or medical history before the person will commence using supplements. So it's very important. Another instance is for people that are using vitamin K. Vitamin K is known to be an anticoagulant. Then if somebody is using a blood thinner, or probably the person has bleeding disorder, and the person is giving person has issues with blood circulation also. You need the person's blood to flow free. Now you give the person medications that are called blood thinners. Examples of them will have all these clopidogrel and what have you. Now, and the person is now using vitamin K. What is eventually going to happen is that the vitamin K is going to counteract the activity of that blood thinner. Now, there's what we call myocardial infarction in our medical terms. And for that, when there's blockage in the blood vessels, so you need blood to flow free. You are giving somebody clopidogrel to help free flow of blood. At the same time, the person is consuming vitamin K. So what he's doing is that we are giving this to mitigate this, we are giving this to counter the effect of this. So nothing is done eventually. There's no benefit. While there are also instances where there are also supplements that are blood thinners on their own naturally. Now, the person is using that blood thinner, and the person is also on another blood thinner prescribed. What happens is that the person will now suffer severe bleeding or hemorrhage. So that's why it is very important to know the person's medication history, know the person's medical history before you commence the use of supplements. Other cases, for some of these supplements, they have the potential to cause kidney and liver damage. You see that there are so many persons complaining of when you are pregnant, your organs are also not functioning optimally. When you are as a child, your organs are not functioning.
It's not really the aged like our parents, it's the young ladies. Because when it comes to the supplement industry, you and I will agree that ladies are more interested. They swallow and would ingest anything to have a glowing skin. Yes or no, pharmacists?
It's true.
They will take a whole lot of things just to ensure that their skin is dewy. They have that, and they just take it. They don't know like the impacts like it may have on their system. Now, this is leading me to the next question. Now, apart from the case of medical history, how can individuals know the kind of supplement to take that will be suitable for them? Not because my friend is taking it, not because this other person is taking it, not because this person took it and his skin is glowing. Like, how does an individual know a particular supplement or set of supplement that is suitable for his or her own system?
Okay, fine. That's a very important question. That actually brings us to a question I always love to ask people. Do you have medical practitioner retainership? Be it a doctor?
What do you mean retainership?
Somebody you can call at any time.
Okay.
More like you have your family lawyer, something like that. Somebody you can call at any point in time. So, this is what I've seen.
Doctor.
This is what I need. Can I take this? What do you advise I do with this? You understand? If you have someone like in the medical field, then it's a good one for you. It's a good one for you. But if you do not have that, you see that you keep struggling to get all these essential, vital advice you should get. Now, you must consult with your pharmacist, with your doctor before you commence use of any supplement. So that is the best way.
Okay, so rounding off.
Yes, just round off now, pharmacist.
Okay, so rounding up, the simple advice I have for people is, well, supplements are good, but they shouldn't forget that supplements also have negative side effects. So before you use any supplement at all, no matter how simple you think it is, it could be as basic as calcium, vitamin C or what have you, consult with your health professional. Yes, it may be simple, but the side effects may be hidden from you. So you need to consult with your health professionals so that you can get the optimal value from your supplement use.
Okay. We'd like to thank you so much, pharmacist, for bringing us up to speed as far as supplements, the cons and the pros. But for want of time, this is where we can wrap it up for today. We do hope that when next we have you again on board, we would also unleash these wonderful ideas so that we are properly guided. Thank you so much for taking your time. All right, my picture, we'll wrap it up for today.
Yes, from me, I'll say happy Indian New Year celebration. Do well to spread love.
All right, spread love and not agape love, but genuine love. My name is Anomen Sam on behalf of the production crew. Enjoy the remaining part of the ED victory. Have a